We're back with Jane Merrill. Jane, you're probably best known for your work in The Lion in Winter,
Yeah.
Which the film. But you had not only a long television career after that, but also before that.
Yes.
So how do you manage to maintain a career over many years and keep being cast and remaining in front of the public? And
Well, I was very, very lucky to start with. Plus, I had a bit of talent, so.
That's the secret. Okay.
Yeah, that helped. But I was very lucky to start with. We had showcases at the end of semesters at the drama school, and that lots of agents and managers and producers and directors and everything would come along and look. And I found an agent, and she was basically starting out. Her name was Elizabeth Robinson, and she and I built our careers together. And she was terrific. She really got me going. And once the ball had started rolling, the momentum had going, especially when you're young. You know, you're young, you've got the youth. Youth is really important in this industry. You know, it gets more and more difficult the older you get, and every actor and actress in the business will tell you that. But youth, when you've got youth on your side, and some talent, and some luck, and a good person, you're going to make it. And I did make it. And I made it quite quickly, and I went on to do some extraordinary work, wonderful, wonderful parts in wonderful writing. I mean, the writers we had in those days on the BBC, on independent television, really amazing. And one of the things I'm very proud of is I did a version of 1984, the George Orwell film. And I was proud of that. And there was so much other work which I can tell you about, which you wouldn't know, but I'm also very proud of that, largely because we had the writers there. Mm-hmm. The writers were extraordinary. And then I arrived at a moment where I did a play, and apparently Peter O'Toole came to see it because he'd been asked to do the film of the play, and he saw me in it, and I was invited to do a screen test for The Lion in Winter.
Oh, because of him seeing you on stage.
Yeah. He says he didn't see it, but I think he did. So the first screen test was a disaster. He didn't believe a word I was saying, so he told me from the other side of the camera. My hair was all over my place, and I thought, that's it. I'm never going to get this part. I was invited back for a second test, and that worked. And at the end of it, he said, you've got it. And I said, you're not lying to me, are you?
Well, that must have been a shock. Yes,
oh, it was. It was extraordinary. And it is the highlight of my career. There's no question about it. Because the people we worked with, you know, we were a family. Peter was instrumental in getting Katharine Hepburn into the film. She would only do it under certain conditions. One was that he behaved himself. The second was that he got the other actors together and made sure that we all fit as a family.
Wow.
And then we went off and shot it. And it was one of the most happy, productive, easy moments of my career. And it doesn't happen.
Wow.
It really does not happen very often. And he said at the time, he said, this will probably never happen again in your career. Make the most of it. And he was right. Those situations are unique. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I'll never forget it. And I'd done another film before that I was very proud of, and it was called The System in England. It's called The Girl Getters over here, which is a dreadful title, but there we are. It's a wonderful script with Oliver Reed.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And David Hemmings was in that, and then David went on to become quite a big star as well. So I've worked with some extraordinary people. And the lighting cameraman on that was a man who became a director called Nick Rogue. He was called Nick Rogue, and he became a director. He shot The Man Who Fell to Earth, the David Bowie film, and Don't Look Now, another wonderful film. And so he was one of the DPs that I worked with that I've had an enormous admiration for. And of course the other one was Dougie Slocum, who shot The Lion in Winter. Douglas was just a genius, and, you know, he'd go off and he'd be, acting around. All that sort of would go on. And he had a terrific operator called Chick Waterson. Chick would, baby, Dougie, now are you all right, Dougie? We're nearly there, Dougie.
Don't make him mad. We got to get the shot.
Take it easy.
So working with these other extraordinary actors, what lessons did you learn, or what did you take from that?
Oh, well, Peter, I think the biggest thing I took from it was the sheer energy. If you're going to act, you've got to have that inner energy. You've got to have that first you've got to have the passion, as we said, and the love, but you've got to have that vitality, that energy It's like the engine that drives the racing car, you know? It's got to be revved up high. And that's the thing I learned, I think, probably most from Peter and Kate. And indeed Tony Hopkins, because it was his first film.
Oh, boy.
And Tony was floundering around a little bit because, you know, he'd really only done theatre, and so he had to learn how to take everything down, because there's no difference in acting. Whether you're on stage or on film, it's just you just take it down, that's all. That's the only difference. People don't think that. They don't know that. They think it's all different, but it isn't.
So just intensity, are you saying?
All of your performance comes from inside, whether you're on stage or whether you're on film. It comes from in here. And if it's from in here, it's bigger on stage because you've got to get it to out there. But if it's here, you're looking at the camera, and it's got to be in here, and your camera is your audience, and you just take it down. It's the same thing. You still create. The process of creation is the same.
Okay.
So, so Tony was you know, and Kate helped him a lot. I know, you know, she really helped him. And I remember there was one day, and I think I must have been on set, because she would allow us actors to be on set when she was working. She wouldn't let anybody else come on. No, we never had any strangers on the set. She would not have visitors, because she said they're not in the right aura, or they're not in tune with us. But we were allowed to watch, and she was doing a scene with Tony, and Tony was just not quite getting it. And I think he will tell this story himself. And she said, look, she said, either get it right or I'm going to take the scene away from you.
Oh.
Well, he got it right.
So she knew how to motivate an actor.
Yeah. And the same with Peter. I mean, he was like, you know, he was 35, Tony was 30, so there were 5 years difference. But he was like a father to us, because that's what he was playing in the film, our father. And no, it was amazing. That's
very unusual to have such a supportive environment between all the cast members.
Because, Lance, good people only make you better. People say, well, weren't you intimidated? Wouldn't you want to work with people? Always work with the best. Always work with the best, because they're only ever going to make you look better.
They raise your game?
Absolutely. And you raise your own game to keep up with them.
Now, your television career was, you were on both sides of the Atlantic and worked regularly. Was there a big difference working?
Well, yes, I have to say, when I came to Los Angeles, and I came with a very big calling card, which was The Lion in Winter, and I was with the William Morris Agency, and bless their hearts, they tried to get me into all sorts of films, but as I bumped into Steve Forrest, the actor, one day, and he said, what the heck are you doing here? There's not many parts for Lady Macbeth out here. I said, well, I'm married, so I have to be here. But no, I mean, Hollywood was interesting, and I enjoyed it, and I worked with some lovely people again. I named Bill Bixby, who I adored. Tom Selleck was great. Leonard Nimoy, adored him too. But the work was much more pedestrian. I mean, we were doing episodic television. It was a bit of a chore. The sets were largely pre-lit, so there was for timing, for time, because and the crews, long hours, so they were tired. A lot of them were tired, and frankly a bit jaded. So there wasn't quite the connection that one got when I started my work. So I was spoiled, and I missed that. But I still enjoyed working. I mean, I don't care. I'll work anywhere. I'm an actor. Anyone want to hire me? Here I am.
What does acting teach you about yourself, or what does it reveal about?
I know I like to show off. That must be the biggest part of it. I don't know. I mean, I think, people say actors are weird, and some of us are weird. But on the other hand, I think also of the ones I've worked with, the people, when they really are into the work and so on, are some of the most interesting people, because we question all the time. We're always looking and studying other people and questioning and analyzing, why is this person like that? Why do they do that? Why do they say that? Because we're going to use that material when we're going to do a part. So I think I find a lot of actors, good actors particularly, very much human beings, very much of human beings. They haven't got a lot of the barriers up.
So do you think actors are, they study people, do they have an insight into human behavior and motivation?
I think to a certain extent, yes. Yeah, I think you have to. I think you have to, because whatever material you're doing, good, bad, or indifferent, has always got a backstory. You've always got to have a reason for this character doing something. And the one thing, and I got into, one of my beloved people here is Will von Targen, who, and I was in his film, Almosting It, last summer, and loved working with him. We'll work with him. I said I'm going to hitch my star to his wagon because he's on his way. But he's one of the young filmmakers very much into technology, and I asked him to do a short film with me, Cougar, and I saw the rough cut when he'd edited it, because he did the editing as well as directing, and we had again the same Lincoln Lewis, the DP that I talked about before. And these guys are very understand the technical end of it. And they don't, I think they get it, but they don't quite get that you've got to start from in here and build out. You can't go from out there and build in. You've got to have a reason for doing everything.
Right.
And these are sort of part of the discussions we have.
So, right, and so that's sort of part of the adjustment you're making as you're going into being a filmmaker and producing your own films.
And I think they're learning from me, but I'm certainly learning from them. Because there's so much in the technical end of it that I really don't understand, and I'm beginning to understand. And the only thing that does worry me is this endless use of CG on actors, that you can change performances digitally.
Wow.
That does concern me.
Wow.
I'm not interested in that at all.
So now you're the Peter O'Toole, bringing the new generation in and saying,
I'm the old generation teaching the new one. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's more to come.
I hope so.
Let's take a break, and we'll be right back with Jane Merrill.